Welcome to Yukdong's Vlogs. Let's watch news together. First, we'll talk about the will immigrant and foreign worker redo your job. And lastly, we'll talk about how does one-man government deal with job competition between immigrants and locals. We'll first look at two Hong Kong news. Although Hong Kong news is cold, the logic behind it is common to the world. All developed countries face labor shortages. The first news is the Hong Kong government announced a special scheme to import care workers for residential care home. The application is accepted on June 19. According to the government, the totally 370 residential care homes submit application involving the introduction to 2,094 nursing staff. The second news is the government announced early will introduce a labor importation scheme for the transport sector to alleviate the severe shortage of manpower in the aviation industry, public minibar and coal trade industry. The quota for the aviation industry and public midnight bus and coal trade industry are kept at 6,300 and 1,700 respectively. Below that, the bar graph shows job vacancies in 6 major industries in Hong Kong from 2020 and 2022. According to the size of the vacancy, the 6 industries from large to smallest is human health care and social work service such as medical care, nursing house, import and export trade, wholesale and retail, professional and business service such as accounting, finance, education, accommodation and meal service such as hotel and catering. Human health and social work is the most vacant sector, double its vacancy from 5,079 from 5,796 to 1,000 to 11,593. Other major industries also double their vacancy at least, while accommodation and food service are near triple their vacancy from 2,401 to 7,700. From 2020 to 2022, the Hong Kong economy will be least prosperous due to the impact of pandemic, but the vacancy in major industry has increased. If the Hong Kong is not booming, there will be less demand in the job market, but the increase in vacancy indicates that the supply of the labor has decreased even more. This should be related to the national security law established in 2020. A large number of working people left Hong Kong due to political factors, resulting in substantially increase in job vacancies. Because we can find a large increase in vacancy from 2020 to 2021, and only a small increase in vacancy from 2021 to 2022. In fact, after getting rid of the impact of the pandemic in 2022, Hong Kong economics should recover and the employment population should increase. The real situation is the job vacancy continue to increase and the demand of employment is not being met. In order to stop the problem of job vacancy, the government can only bring the immigrant and foreign worker in. So there are two periods then. Now we talk about the pros and cons of immigrants. But first we have to know about one economic terms, demographic dividend. Demographic dividend is the economic growth potentially that can result from the shift of population age structure, mainly when the share of the working population is larger than non-working age share of the population. Demographic dividend is the economic growth brought by the change of the structure of the country's population, usually result in a fall of fertility and mortality rates. The demographic dividend comes as there's an increase in the working population's productivity, which boosts per capita income. The first period of the demographic dividend it can last 50 years, and the second period can last indefinitely as aging population invest in various investment vehicles. There are four main areas which a country can find demographic dividend. Saving. During demographic periods, personal saving grows and can be used to stimulate the economic. Labor supplies. More workers are added to the labor force, including more women. Human capital. With fewer births, parents are able to allocate more resources per child, leading to better educational and health outcomes. Economic growth. GDP per capita is increased due to the decrease in the dependency ratio. Fewer births, immigration and foreign workers is the only increase the working population methods. For example, the United States. The United States is a country of immigrants. If there are no foreign population, the population aging will bring down the economy of the whole country. Because Americans' academic qualifications have improved, people with higher education have lower fertility rates. They advocate the strategy of less but better and hope that every child can become elite. In 2015, the U.S. foreign born population supplied the U.S. market with 40 million working age people, 26 million of whom were employed. The foreign born population had been increased until 2019 pandemic. There was 43.5 million foreign born people in United States in 2019, of whom 29 million entered the labor force. Although this figure had fallen sharply after 2019, they are expected to resume their upward trends after pandemic. Immigrants supplied a large number of workers to the United States, and as immigrants increase, so does the employed population. And 2/3 of the working age immigrants are employed in United States. This graph is a bit messy, but we can see almost all lines are slightly raising to the right. This shows that the higher the population density, the higher the income of people. The basic logic is simple. The more people, the more transaction. The more transaction, the more economic growth. The Migration Observatory, based on University of Harvard, of Frost. They have four viewpoints. The first, migrants may compete with existing workers for jobs, but they also cause the number of jobs to increase. Migrants themselves buy goods and services, increase demand. Employers may increase production in sectors where migration allows them to employ more people, e.g., in the agriculture or care sectors, or use more labor-intensive production methods. The second, impact of migration on wage on employment prospect to native worker is small because there are different types of job for native and immigrant. So they are in different game. The first, the low wage worker is more likely to lose out from immigration, while medium and high paid workers are more likely to gain, but the effects are small. There's a negative effect for those with low education and a positive effect for those with higher level education, because the migrants will compete with the low education people for a job, but will serve the high level education people. The first, the rates affect the immigration are likely to be greatest for residential workers who are migrants themselves. Some studies have found a small negative impact on average wage. Some other found positive effects on average effect. But summary, the immigration do more good than harm to economic. So the government want to maximize the value of the immigrant. If foreign workers are not properly trained and managed, or their working ability do not meet the basic safety and healthy standard, the quality of their work may be compromised. So, government want to offer two things for the immigrants. The first one is courses, the second is tasks. In order to improve the quality of migrants and reduce the cultural conflicts, we have to arrange courses and tasks for them. There are four types of courses. The first course is language course. We don't expect the migrants can speak local language fluently, but at least they should understand the language and can have some simple conversation. The second is the norms of they have to know the local taboos and respect the local tradition. The third is the course of skill, the courses of skills, course of skill is for increasing their worker capacity and increase their employability. The fourth is the safety course. is to for reduce the work-related injuries and their burden on society. They not just to work but to live here. They also will have some local consumption. So we want them to enroll into the local community. They have to complete the task in certain time. They have to join our festival. They have to join our saloon. They have to join our local tours. They have to get into our community, be part of our community. For the locals, we want to increase the ability of locals to compete for jobs. So my idea is that an education system reform. The education reform is large, but I will talk about some small detail in here, but not the all. If you want to know about more about my thoughts, you can follow my channel. First is cancellation of the enter age. Second is the cancellation of grade by age. The third is deregulation of running school. The aim is allow adults to return school at any time they want and increase the local level of education and let the local people engage in high-tech and high-value added jobs. Let's call it a day. If you want to know about more my thoughts, you can subscribe my channel and watch my other video. Thank you.